The new year is always a reminder of goals achieved, but also dreams postponed. Don't waste another 365 days before starting your dream business. Do it now with the help of Shopify. Shopify has helped millions of entrepreneurs, from household names like Skims and Allbirds to first-time business owners just getting started. With Shopify, you'll have everything you need to sell online and in person. Their built-in AI tools write product descriptions and headlines and help you edit product photos. Marketing is built in too. Create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. As you grow, Shopify grows with you. Handle more orders, expand to new markets, and do it all from the same dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/income. Go to shopify.com/income. That's shopify.com/income. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side.
Vitamin Water Zero Sugar has great taste, zero BS, and obviously zero sugar. For those with zero room in their calendar, zero patience for slow walkers, those who get 0 hours of sleep on a Saturday night, have zero filter, zero given, and zero interest in grabbing a plain, boring water. Grab a delicious Vitamin Water Zero Sugar today.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
I opened the first envelope and the note said, "It is so easy to follow you. Can you hear the footsteps behind you?" A second letter arrived. "It is so funny how you think it is over."
Again, I glanced backwards, and the two guys had sped up their pace. One of them grabbed something from a fanny bag that he had on his chest. Every organ in my body knew before my brain could process it.
From Killer Podcasts, true tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week, we have 3 creepy experiences that will keep you looking over your shoulder. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. First, a stroll through town seems ominous somehow, and it's a warning for what's to come. Narrated by Roma Garustovich from Reddit user LeanSkiba22.
November 5th, 2022. I'll never forget that day. I had just finished my courses for the year, and summer was right around the corner. So it meant it was time to catch up with some of my friends. On this particular occasion, it was Nathan. Nathan was my best friend at the time, and we sometimes spent months without seeing each other. But when we did hang out, we always did the same. We went to get some snacks and caught up over coffee before sunset. Then walked around town until it was around 9 p.m., and we called it a day. This time, though, nothing felt usual. From the moment I saw him, something in my stomach just dropped. It wasn't him per se. We were on good terms. But something about hanging out that day felt off. Right as I greeted him with a handshake and we went to our usual spot for coffee, We got there, and things went by the books. I shook it off as being nervous because I hadn't seen him in a long time. That was, of course, until Nathan mentioned that he felt like things around us were weird. Another drop in my stomach. I kept my cool, trying not to sound paranoid or something, but I guessed I couldn't help it. You feel it too? I asked. He nodded. He said that he couldn't pinpoint what was wrong, but it was like our surroundings were odd, like hostile, even when there was nothing to fear. Was this some sort of shared paranoia? Was the end of the year getting to us? We didn't know, but we were sure it was the first time we felt something like that. We finished our coffee, and I felt like maybe having a walk wasn't going to be the best idea. Maybe we should just call it a day now and go back to our homes while there was still light. At that moment, my dad called me and asked if I could find out the price of a phone he was thinking about buying. So while we were going to the store, in my mind I kept thinking, yeah, I'll ask about this and then we split. But no. For some reason, we still decided to do our long walk until dark. We used to walk around this boulevard that wasn't really a dangerous area. During a normal weekend, it would be filled with teenagers and young adults sitting in the grass, drinking or smoking and listening to music. We were there on a Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and it was completely empty. As we passed a corner, I noticed two other guys down a side street. They were probably around our age, maybe older. A few moments after, I glanced over my shoulder and noticed that they were behind us. Something like that didn't normally trigger my red flags, but these two did. What first set me off was that they weren't talking like us. They were dead silent. Second, their pace was off. They weren't trying to pass us, but they didn't stay way behind either. They were keeping distance. The four of us were completely alone on that street. As we approached the end of the boulevard, which went down into a big park, I warned Nathan. Hey, these two behind us, they might be onto something. Nathan looked over his shoulder, then back at me. Wanna cross the street, just to be sure? I nodded. We crossed the median and reached the opposite sidewalk, continuing our stroll. Again, I glanced backwards, and the two guys had sped up their pace. My heart, gut, and every organ in my body knew before my brain could process it. One of them grabbed something from a fanny bag that he had on his chest and went ahead of his friend. Before I could react, this guy crossed the street, got in front of us, and said, "Boys, keep it quiet, or we'll shoot you both dead." My vision went blurry. The other guy came up too, but I couldn't see their faces anymore. All I could see was that they were in front of us, threatening to end our lives and seemingly armed. I froze. My entire life literally flashed before me. My parents, my girlfriend, the dog we had just rescued and that I was happy to see every time I got home. What was the last thing I had said to any of them? In a panic, I gave one of them my phone and raised my hands. But Nathan managed to snap and ran away, leaving me with those shitheads. They threatened us, telling him to come back. It wasn't until he yelled, "Run!" that I snapped too, and I ran toward him. I tripped not far from where I started. "Shoot him! Shoot him!" I heard behind me. This is it, I thought. This is how I go. I gathered my strength and got up. I kept running, expecting to hear a gunshot behind me. But it never rang. I was finally able to talk again, but all I could muster was, "Help us, please! Help!" at the top of my lungs. We ran a few blocks until we stopped from exhaustion. Nathan had lost his glasses back at the boulevard and wanted to go back because he couldn't see without them, and getting a new pair was very expensive here. I refused. I told him we would stay there and wait for help or the police. But eventually he convinced me, and we went back, carefully, to the place where our lives changed forever. Lucky enough, he found them, and those two assholes were long gone. I wasn't claiming that anything supernatural had happened here, but I felt like everything that had happened before that horrific moment was some sort of warning sign trying to stop us from going there. Hell, when the dust settled, people started showing up in the boulevard, returning it to the lively state I was familiar with. We came across a woman who was waiting for her husband to get out of work. Upon hearing what had happened, she offered us a ride to my house, and we accepted it. When we got there, I hugged my mom like I had never done in my life, and I was thankful to be able to do it. Needless to say, this day changed me forever. I knew that it could have happened on any date, at any hour, and anywhere. But November 5th would never be a normal day for me again. Nathan and I drifted apart, not because of this, but our friendship was never really the same afterward, especially since I refused to go around those areas at night. I will never, ever ignore that feeling again. If your gut tells you something is off, trust me, it's off.
In our next story, a girl learns that people aren't always what they seem. Narrated by Robyn Unger, from Reddit user Lil Eddie.
I was a shy kid. In elementary school, I don't think I spoke to anyone unless spoken to, and even then, I was often so anxious about being perceived that I kept my replies short and spent the next few hours replaying the conversation in my head, hoping I didn't come off as weird. I had a lot of trouble with boys, too, so it was no wonder I spent a lot of time in the guidance counselor's office. My guidance counselor was a sweet younger woman. She and my mom got along well, and I even kept in contact with her through Facebook as I got older. She was truly awesome. By the time I got to high school, I had broken out of my shell a bit. I became a varsity competitive cheerleader. I was in all honors classes and was the top-ranked art student and president of the art club. And I dated a complete asshole. I truly got the complete high school experience. Now, at my high school, there was an option to take tech classes at an applied learning center. They offered a ton of courses like cosmetology, CNA, automotive, and that kind of thing. And it was truly a great tool for those not planning on college or who just wanted to take some technical skills before graduating high school. I wasn't able to take any courses at the tech school, but my boyfriend did. He took some sort of police course, and it happened to be taught by my elementary school guidance counselor's husband. Now, this was a very large man. I mean, the most ripped I've ever seen. His arms were the size of my head, and that's not exaggeration. Apparently, he was an arm wrestling champion at one time. Over the few semesters my boyfriend had in his class, the two became pretty close. I guess he became sort of a mentor to him, and since I knew his wife, We even ended up having dinner at his house. Looking back now, I have no idea why two teachers thought it was a good idea to invite two high school students to their house. But they did. They had two young daughters, probably around 5 and 7. They were also in competitive cheer, so I spent most of the evening talking to them. Dinner was uneventful, and I never thought twice about it, as odd as it was. Afterwards, my boyfriend's teacher followed me on Instagram, and he would like/comment on my pictures and occasionally message me. It was never about anything weird, and since he was my boyfriend's mentor and past guidance counselor's husband, I literally never thought twice about it. I remember him messaging me once to ask if I would come over sometime to give his daughters tumbling lessons, and I literally thought, wow, what a great idea. I was stupid. Now, fast forward a year or so, I finally realized that my boyfriend was a jerk and dumped him. I would see his teacher at my cheer competitions, and he would still occasionally message me, but I didn't think that was weird since his daughters were into it too. I was sitting in AP Stats one day, goofing off in the back row with a friend of mine, when I heard my name called over the intercom. They wanted me to report to the principal's office. Almost simultaneously, my stepdad started texting me, asking me weird questions about pictures that I did not understand. All of my anxiety came rushing back at once. I had never been to the principal's office before, and as I stood up to leave class, everyone stared at me. I walked into the office and was surprised to see my mom standing there, crying. A detective stood next to her, and a big, thick yellow folder sat on a desk in front of them, full of pictures of me. They had found all of them on my ex-boyfriend's teacher's phone. He had been stalking me, and I had no idea. I never opened the folder because I didn't want to know. After I left the office that day, I never heard another word about it, except that he was fired. It almost feels like a fever dream, but it happened. I'm just glad I never went to his house to give his daughters tumbling lessons.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Disturbed. Finally, a little boy seems kind from the outside, but his stories reveal the dark truth. Narrated by Dacey Else, from Reddit user GlitterStilettos31.
In my third year of college, I lived off campus by myself in an apartment complex that was gated and you needed a key to enter. Most of the residents were students, but a few families lived there too. Ryan was a 5th grader who lived with his family there. I saw him around when I go to do laundry, and he liked talking to me. He'd tell me about school. It was nice. It kind of made me think back on when I was in 5th grade. He used to ask what was going on for me. I usually said I was studying. One day he asked me for my email address. He said he started writing stories and he wanted to send them to me. It felt harmless, wholesome even, so I gave it to him. He started sending me these little horror stories. There were abandoned houses, killer clowns, stuff like that. This was during that one summer with all the clown attacks and sightings, so maybe that had something to do with it. Anyways, I respected that he had a hobby. I didn't always respond to his emails, but I always mentioned something to him when I'd see him. Then he invited me to his elementary school graduation. It was in the middle of finals, and I just didn't want to give up a whole Friday morning, so instead I sent him a Hallmark card and congratulating him. I thought that would be sweet enough. The next time I saw him, he was not happy. He said it would only have taken an hour for me to attend, and he had seen me spend longer with my friends. I didn't really know what to say to that. I mean, he kind of had a point. Even though he was mad at me, the next time I saw him, he asked me to get dinner with him. He said, just me and you, and I said, I don't think so, but he kept pushing, saying things like, I just want to get to know you better. Even crazier, he was doing this while his mom was there. His mom could hear all this. I thought she would intervene. She did not. She giggled. When your 11-year-old son is pressuring a college student to go on a date with him after she has already said no, that is a great moment for a parent to step in and help enforce boundaries. I wasn't in that apartment for very long after that. I had one summer session that ended in August, and then I moved to a different place for the next year. I kept my distance. I didn't want another invitation to anything. I gave that kid one-word answers. I avoided eye contact. I also blocked his email address. After I moved out, I didn't hear from Brian for a few months. Then, around October, I started getting anonymous letters sent to my new address. I opened the first envelope and the note said, "It is so easy to follow you. Can you hear the footsteps behind you?" I felt nauseous. I'm getting shivers now even thinking about it. I threw it away and tried to ignore it as if that would solve the problem. Sure enough, a week later, a second letter arrived. "I know what you did," it read. "It is so funny how you think it is over." I had read enough of that kid's stories to recognize his writing when I'd see it. This was the way the characters in his stories might speak. I knew instantly that he was the one sending me these letters. I felt ridiculous calling the police, but I did. Imagine calling the police and telling them that an 11-year-old might be sending you anonymous, threatening letters. The police told me there was nothing they could do because no laws had been broken. They couldn't trace the letters. They also said these letters were more common than some people realized and that there was no concrete evidence to believe they were from that kid. They also told me that sometimes these kinds of letters come from senders that the recipient had never even met before. I guess the police were right. There was no way to prove it, but I know for a fact that kid sent me those letters. There was never a third letter. I never heard from him again. I think he moved on to something else. Maybe he found other people to spend his time thinking about. Hopefully people his own age. Still, I worry. Without intervention, who knows what kind of man that boy will become.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Declan Roars. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Will Pritz, and Sean Rule Hoffman. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.